Clementina, 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 Clementina kinangulu kamba mwayaba mama. Clementina kinangulu kamba mwayaba mama. Clementina, 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 Clementina kinangulu kamba mwayaba mama. Clementina kinangulu kamba mwayaba mama. Mama makundola bata chakulwansha. Mama makundola bata chakulwansha. Kana kumonanga nakine kanaleza wanusa. Kana kumonanga nakine kanaleza wanusa. Mama makundola bata chakulwansha. Mama makundola bata chakulwansha. Kana kumonanga nakine kanaleza wanusa. Kana kumonanga nakine kanaleza wanusa. Chikala la mukwenu wikawira toloshi. Chikala la mukwenu wikawira toloshi. Wikawira toloshi yaya nakuvingira vyabara. Wikawira toloshi yaya nakuvingira vyabara. Chikala la mukwenu wikawira toloshi. Chikala la mukwenu wikawira toloshi. Wikawira toloshi yaya nakuvingira vyabara. Wikawira toloshi yaya nakuvingira vyabara. Mama va Maria, Maria mwanami. Mama va Maria, Maria mwanami. Saungwe vyamba bashobe, Maria mwanami. Saungwe vyamba bashobe, Maria mwanami. Bakugwa bikaruka maroba, Maria mwanami. Bakugwa bikaruka maroba, Maria mwanami. Mama va Maria, Maria mwanami. Mama va Maria, Maria mwanami. Bakugwa bikaruka maroba, Maria mwanami. Bakugwa bikaruka maroba, Maria mwanami. toloshi aya, wita wira toloshi. Wita wira toloshi aya, wita wira toloshi. Wita wira toloshi aya, wita wira toloshi. Wita wira toloshi mama, wita wira toloshi. Social, the royalida. Social. Maria Mwanami, Mama Maria Mwanami, Zangweja Mabashode, Maria Mwanami, Zangweja Mabashode, Maria Mwanami. Hello, good evening, Chuempala. This is about 2136. Elias Musha here on TV Bakwetu. Thank you for joining us. We have a lot of exciting things that are lined up for us today. Lelo nshifulidwe nga mailo bantu mailo kwena nalifulwa nomba ni ndifye bwino ni nchita calm down ero naba kunjafuirisha ko to calm down naba anjafuirisha so kanshi bonse mwe bamvuluishe mailo ndifye bwino, but we had to address those things that we had to address anyway. I think we need to move on from there unless ngachakutira namukwata ko ka concern. Otherwise, we are going to move on from there. I said what I said, and I don't really care about if you have Bambi Tawasekeremo. So, anyway, thank you. We are going to. But as always, maybe he's having a few challenges in here and there in terms of technology. But not to be outdone, we are going to be joined by a nice list of panelists, and we are going to have a great time here. I have with me here Advocate Malisa, and so we're just going to continue a little bit about what DEC is doing. Issue some of those questions, and then we are going to move into much more we want to defend our revolution. So we can't let this revolution be sidelined. Whether it's 2 days or 2 hours into the new administration, we must be there to defend the revolution. Kanshiba Kelenka that are standing by the sidelines, whoever jeopardize this particular revolution, they are not going to have it easy because we are here and we are going to defend it. After the swearing in and after the inauguration, I make sure that I also am there to defend it. Because if we leave these people alone, if we left the Kelenkas alone, they are going to create a narrative. and defend it. As long as this remains the people's revolution, as long as this remains the people's decision, 1 million plus votes to give to Ms. Hakainde Hichilema of Bwengwa, we are here to try and defend that revolution and to advocate for good governance and to continue advocating for it. So we are not going anywhere. I'll go back to Calgary and continue doing what I do, working very hard in my law firm. Number, we are not going to let this slip away at Yom Kwai Chitifie, because we must continue working. After tuwafumiapo balungu, na ba Patriotic Front, na ba Kelenka bonse tuwafumiapo, we need to defend it. That's why we are still around. To Alaya, this weekend I think I'll be in Calgary. But before that, we need to defend this revolution by all means. Advocate Malisa.
Good evening. Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, good evening. And so, yes, we can hear you. I see here that DEC has seized those properties, and you started telling us a little bit about what the law means and the implications of different pieces of legislation.
Yes.
Forfeiture of property be easier to do than prosecuting these thieves.
I didn't quite get the question because you were quite you were skipping. I think the network is a problem. Yeah. What were you saying?
No. I was asking about the forfeiture of property.
Okay.
Why is that procedure much preferable to actually prosecuting the thieves?
I can't really say it's favorable. But there's a difference between seizure and forfeiture. So what the DEC has done now is called a seizure, because the act, the Psychotropic Substances and Narcotics Act, allows officers of the DEC to seize property which is suspected to be proceeds of crime. So the way seizure happens is if the DEC come to your premises and they search with or without a warrant, and they find that there's some property that they suspect to have been proceeds of crime, then they will seize that property pending the investigations. So when they do their investigations, they might decide to prosecute the case, which is they take you to a court, and if you're found guilty, then you're sentenced to jail. And then that property which they have seized following a conviction, that's when they apply now for forfeiture. Or the second limb is under the Anti-Corruption Act, where the Anti-Corruption Commission now can move in and seize property. And then the way they do the forfeiture procedure, with or without prosecuting someone, they can gazette the property. Like they put a gazette notice that we've gotten this property. If anyone has a claim against it, they have to do so within 90 days. If nobody comes and makes representations, then the property is automatically forfeited to the state. So under the Anti-Corruption Act, it is possible to forfeit property without prosecution. Then the other one is what? The Forfeiture of Proceeds of Crime Act. Again, the Forfeiture of Proceeds of Crime Act usually applies after a conviction. When someone is convicted for any offense and then there's property involved in that offense, then the state would forfeit that property. But relating to the matter at hand, where the DEC is seizing what you call what's
Hello, it appears like we've lost Advocate Malisa. We've lost Advocate Melissa here. And of course, my video is still the same. Anyway, Dr. Jones Kasonso, welcome to our program today.
Thank you, sir. How are you?
I'm very well. You missed out yesterday.
Yes, I did, but I was listening to you.
Nadi Fulwa. Elon shifulirwe but mairo nadi fulwa sana. All right. Okay, so
fish back today.
If you back today, now this posta poka status kamwaka kwebati this, I would like to tell Little Tonga boys and Little Tonga girls to be extremely proud that this day has come in our country where we've summoned a Tonga president. They need to walk with their head high because it is their country. Ero nomba bantu basa bamobamo tebonse yo bamobamo batampo kulandirira ati I'm a tribalist. Chali nkaliba. And so I was trying to find out why should Tonga success be suddenly a Zambian issue, and yet in the name of Ushinga Nachita succeed, it becomes Zambia and Ushi success. Why should we have difficulties accepting Ukwebati? Aga in the Hichilema is the president for all Zambians. And this president for all Zambians was born in Bwengo and grew up in Bwengo, and he has become president for the entire country. Why should that be a problem? Anyway,
you know, that narrative has been sold for many years. Evo chaleva mumishira nde chibemba umuntu ngalera nde chitundu chimbi nishiti tribalist. So bali abaninso bakwete kwa fitundu fimbi balukwaloso bakwete kwa fitundu fimbi kwale bafya mangwingu ati ma tribalist. So nga mwafika popo wekele ero balala nde chitundu chabo bena bali abalera nde chibemba tabale ufafya banabo balelanda. They would take offense and call that tribalism. So we have a responsibility to challenge that thinking. That if somebody speaks a language you don't understand, then it doesn't mean they're tribalists. It just means they are not talking to you. If they were talking to you, they would talk to you in a language you understand. So the concept of tribalism of ever understood in Zambia over the years, let me just say over 60 years, a little bit pervasive, and it tries to propagate if of ever and chibemba or ever and the chibemba so chibemba false sense of ownership yachalo, that everybody should rather speak in their language than in win. So because sometimes change, when it comes, it can be painful. But in Nikateka wa Zambia, Hichilema Mutonga, Umuila, Ulande Chitonga, you know, Nikateka wa Zambia, ero nabantu besu wonse kula kumchi abama konsibali mu hoteli abengi sana. So Nikateka chalo chakwe. So abantu bafire makamaka the Bemba speaking people group bafire bachita accept ukwebati chalo cha Zambia tebe na fie yawe. So nga kwali kubalira omuliro palicho oyo omuliro kwena ni support oyo nshireba tinkoshena kabiri kube part 2 awe. But we have to celebrate our unity as a country, but we also have to celebrate the diversity of culture and language, because that is what the Republic of Zambia is. It's a unitary state of 72 tribes, and it's a unitary state of different languages.
Okay. I think number also, I think I don't want us to return back to this story. But Kanika, are you there? Mr. Jerome Kanika?
I'm here, Bamunsha. Sorry, I would have put my video, but I'm just sitting nicely myself. I'm just coming back from Lusaka. But anyway, opondi bamusha.
Ati tulofa okumona efinso abantu balaba efyo mumone kabaka.
Abala chimona lekeni mpike fyo bino amakamera yandi nicely.
Ineni nkwata ko better even if I opened the camera, mwakola mwana ko fiameno. Mwemo. Mukabwino we muntu uderanda abantu bale mona fiameno epe.
Awe bala mbona kwena ngana mumona nchindenda ndesha pa kubika bwino pepakembika bwino kwena.
Abo bakanika abantu bale fo kumona echinso chenu. So aleni weekend wino. All right, thank you very much. We're going to be joined by several, but the story that was circulated today about HH's house, I think it was just miscommunication. It was lost in translation. No one has officially said that HH will not move into State House. Dr. Kasonso.
Nkwai.
Allen, na mumfwedi ya shiria State House.
Nachikomenta kupama blog yesu nachilasa kesha pa first njevele ngomwalanda tiyo talifa ukukiramo mu State House bimbi asango kwa bati nkongole shafulisha so ilenganda kube fyo kuichita remodo no kuichitisha since nakateka alipotaka lenganda so that weshe kwa nkongole paishi ero bambi nabo baisa yo ninganda state ya free ya kukira kulia ero naisa mona mashinati bali ni ba PF so nje bali mu ba PF mu leto bati you never even step in State House nomba mu alamu butusha shana ati abutukiremo na mushama poison mufibumba tufire twayichita ko mwiri nganda twayiwame twafunyamo amapenti yabo twafunyamo covid yonse twayicha disinfect tupending nganda yamonika kuno na presidents bala kwata ma tests ya kusana balungu limbi batemeno blue mukati bamutinta kuti banalungu banalungu batemeno blue mukati ero bamutinta kuti baisate mo lilac so kulabo kuchita ko remodo tumo yawa nganda shani it's at different levels mumone bamunsha nchefe ko enafe inena liparwa fe kumono tuma details mumone the last two presidents aba ikaramuli nganda health yabo ero bakukire kure yari ba very poor basata basungulikire mu State House balungu bale pona no kupona nga bafuma ku State House ninganda yakubutukira mu fyo lubiro kuyi wami yako first mwafunyamo mwafunyamo efficiene ero so limbi kuti mwasa sanga fiat cash because the State House yakale kuti mwasa sanga fiat mwali benkufu so linkufu cheche kucha disinfect mwashifunyamo because imbeshileta eshaleleta malwela kubaleteka so but if for wena Zambia twaliba very superstitious because apart from ukubabena Kristo twaite mwako nenganga so nga kwaliko Ranganathan kaunda letere yakale kuli nganga yaku India heaven on earth kwabena shani so kufuire kwabo kupokelera ko intelligence bali nganga ero nenganda mwaipekanya for the new administration takuli tenganda yakwa batu mwakukira mofie what chipulu maybe it's even a haunted house kuyase nganga kuna direct down so abantu tabavuga ku butaushi nkwai
amuti mulya munganda mulya limbi mwali bechiwa
kuti yaba ni haunted house bantu bonse nabaikala mu muri nganda half bali kwa so kuita kunganga ya Nigeria naye ngamwachitekera mu mapepo mwapishamo bajoy makando festival yabayala alamo elo nomba mwaisa leta kateka chese so kwa bate ba PF bale butusha kateka kule datu kanefyo even mwachata we have to defend the revolution we have to na tukanefyo ba PF bale landa kateka we never step there nomba chichi bale kwa kumbutusha mfya upa nchiwa shamo iyo vile kupamba katufungie mbalo wakile mukateka. Thank you.
The comments that we are receiving here you've lit the situation up. Mwakafia ama comments hapo yakaba amuti mufire face mwaya lala kwenganga nango bajoyi makando batamfia kwefi ifibanda batamfia kwefi banda ngale bapeperera pantu abafuira muli mu state house no amalwere yati yafula awo kwena mwandu. Anyway, for me, what I found remarkable was that the announcement was done a little bit prematurely, and it was done by the Secretary General, and he has corrected himself. He says that he had no business announcing that, and so it is quite reasonable that President Hakainde Hichilema should take some time before moving into the house. It should be cleaned, it should be prayed for. I know mleseka kofe bakasonswero mlenda tumwali befibanda mleseka kofe. But truly, it needs attention, maybe, and then the president can move in. Mr. Kanika, what do you think?
Yeah, I think first, the president has not refused to stay in State House, but like Bakasonso Yokobarandre, Nababika Wino San, Abafide first Unkupyanga Mum State House, no Kubika Mat Bakasonso, not one day by Makando. By Makando should be there for 1 month. Then you say, let's see now the president go there. Because that place needs serious prayers back at once. Mkuya tuanze wa president hawe kwena kuti vasungurukira ngefine mulondorera ati vasungurukira mu State House vengi vasungurukira mu kata usungurukire mu yakuya poli na kusharo fimbi ativo baba tora wa president beno kunaba ndota trefoya trefoya we need to defend that the president should be there all this period, not tukakwate problem twakwata kuri abambi twakwata ku ba president awo. So kwena ngefe omlandire namu ndafya bwino nane nami support mamilandire ba kwena ba Dr. Kasonso.
All right. Yeah, thank you very much. So that is the one on State House. Now I'm going to have someone from our discussant so that they address this issue so that we know. I'll bring Don Oscar. Now, Don Oscar, are you there? Don Oscar? Don Oscar Tabaribo. The reason why I wanted to bring Paul, so they could buy a pepper at State House, which are anointed sana with their holy water, and so I just wanted to find out from Don Oscar. But you're not mentioning I'm a Catholic priest. Because they do exorcisms as well. Okay. Now, Jerome, our viewers are saying that you have a new look. Could you tell us, please, what is new about your look?
I'm surprised. No, in excitement, no, Bakari, that was more fast in the Canave, Mishino, quicker than a chunks at Pakatuka voting about that was Lusa by UPN did Kakonkanya, Potiene, Fish, no, Bapa, I'm not Funyako, Trimunio Don, Umaba President Jaka in the Momo film to fetch Tika. So, everybody and that new look, Yandy.
Your new look. Number, in case there is any interruption in my network, but Jerome, please, you carry on and moderate the discussion, because it appears like sometimes my network is several of our friends that participate, and so Andrew Butcher, are you there?
Yes,
Chamapesi, are you there?
Hello.
Yeah, I'm here. Yes, I'm here. I'm trying to put some volume. Hello? Can you hear me?
Okay, thank you. I think we can continue. Wakasonso.
Mkwai.
Emukwe, I think we can continue. Bamusha kwati ngefyo bachilanda network yabo yakosa but baratukonkanyapo. Bachama pesi barishani kwena.
Ah, Bururi Fatrifia Bueno. Atilesa Pale. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, but kwena. We can hear you.
No, myself actually, when I read about the house thing, I was kind of confused until when I read more. Then I realized, I said, no, it's somebody who's left the fire and took the smoke. You know, that was my reasoning. And actually, to be honest with you, I was also interested in what Mr. Musha said yesterday. I really wanted to say something as well on that issue.
Please go ahead. Say something.
No, but all I wanted to say is, like, I remember when I was growing, when I was a kid, yeah, that's in Feira, in Luangwa. And that time when we were kids during Kaunda regime, I remember the bank governors, two bank governors were Chikundas from that part of the country. I can tell you, and the Chikundas are a very small tribe. It's not like huge, you know, because even the Solis are a bit bigger. You know, it's a very small tribe. And you could see how proud us kids were. Because when you look at the man, the signature is somebody from your village. You understand my point? So what Bamusha wrote, for me, I second that. I wish we had somebody who could say, hey, you Chikunda boys, can you see how that the bank governor is from your area? Be happy. You know, celebrate that. I wish we had people like that. You understand? Because it's a matter of because we have to promote each other. You know, oh, Abatonga or the losses are this and this. I remember when we were young, I think even Makasoso on this one will agree. When even him when he was young, I think there's a beauty. He used to say, Kalubale Songola. I mean, I was a kid singing the same song. That's a fact. Everybody who were born on that particular time, we all sang that song. You understand? Because that's how we were kids. That's how it was. You know. But time has moved. We have to learn to live together. We are one. Yeah. We are one Zambia. There's no point of us. Umuntu anjipusha tuwasi your tribe. Ndapata Mzambia. Tetindada ndi Mutonga, ndi Muvemba, ndi Wakuchipata. Because you find somebody else who be talking rubbish about your tribe. We have to learn to promote our tribes. We've lived in unity for more than 50 years as a country. Yeah, let's be one. My last point actually now goes to, I know Mamusha said we have to support the revolution. Yes, I agree with that. But for me, I will continue at least to be a thorn when it comes to things like those people who store the money for the country. If DEC is not doing anything, I expect people in those positions to start doing their job. On top of that, I would like any of our viewers listening to go to the police station and report Kambwi. Tribalism. He needs to face the music, because if we don't start prosecuting people like that,
bonse twakulayisana nenkesa nkala ndeko ati hey iwe wewe kuchipata iwe wewe musoli. It would be normal because nobody is prosecuting anything. So I would like any of our members listening to go to a police station and report Kamwiri, because right now any police officer who do the actual job he's supposed to do, not what the president tells him. Thank you. But Jeremy, continue. Let me go off the video. I'll be listening. I'll join again anyway.
Dr. Kasonso, emukwai, dande mpuko baranda kwe.
Yeah, twale kumbwa kachisote kubangoni. We have this rich heritage. We have this heritage where we are made up of the different facets of our people groups, and we must maintain that diversity. But we must keep one thing in mind: we are one people. There are so tribalism. If, for instance, you come from Sanfia, tribalist. Number but the first people go to you, that is tribalism. Tribalism, that is tribalism. But it's not you support from extended family. Your friends are not Uganda support from extended family. Look at themselves. Maybe there's something that you did with the family, which they haven't done. So we have to talk about and also which the report come with this. To the police and for his insinuatory remarks, because that was divisive, and there is a law on hate speech on which you have a basis to prosecute him. And political prosecution so we have to be mindful.
Hello, kwena twachimona bakasonsi kwena yachupa ku network. Ba Imbe Malambo, what are you saying about today's topic? Chitenya ni mute, muni mute. Yes.
Comrade Jerome, good evening.
Good evening.
Fully.
He must have cabinet on paper, but they don't just come. So let's most of his no cabinet.
Okay, continue, Comrade Imba.
In Ashdialelo, before nchilashita contribute kuli Ashdialelo, comrade. Ili amailo na inena chitafo kitako contribute. Peli Ashdia mailo. Pe topic ya liko mailo. But ni ngumfwa comrade Musha has said awe tuilanda po. But nishibala wala tuwela kwa nseya.
Awe landeni po please. Landeni po mwirire kilashi. Baka sonso kwa opozi mwegwene. Network taili wino komuni. Baka sonso hao ichiteni ko pose nomba. Lekeni balande ko ba Imba Malambo.
Okay.
Go ahead, comrade.
Comrade, the situation of tribalism, as Ikange to Alishwa number, we are being identified by names. If you say I'm Tonga, for Assembly PF, that will be identified by names. But you know, the issue of tribalism, and especially pointed at the Tongas, comrade, it's unfortunate. But in Naisenda Tibukopo, whoever talks about tribalism, because they are ubongo tawakwata information, they've got nothing to talk about, they've got nothing to offer the people of Zambia. So kumonafe, you remember when we were in school, liatwali abaicha bali abalifikopo sana, balefu makwati ba maka wanting to intimidate those who could perform better in school. So for me, I take it that way. But if we don't handle it properly, it's going to cause more damage. And politicians like Kambwili, if we give them the platform, they'll destroy our nation. One, we are talking about it as the Tongas. We are talking about it, Kumona, to oppress the Tongas. But anyway, Lesa has taught them a lesson. Oko usulile eko pananoko. Vatambila tabatonga, they are tribal. Even yesterday, I asked the question, if you hear the way I'm speaking Bemba, how many Bembas can speak the way I'm speaking Bemba Chitonga? Niwanga bengalande findelande chwemba lelo.
Actually, comrade, me man care of your pain. What you have said is what you have also observed. When you check most people from northwestern, western, and the southern, you find that they know more than 2 or 3 tribes. But abanesu abafumafye kuma nani kani oku kuma kulwa pula kunodheni awe na fitundu fimbi tabafwana okufishi bakobe nawe afwafye kidachine chabo chapo afo fona discover because ilenga dilanda nebo kachokwe barakana na bamusha bakaenda kumatene kachokwe but indalanda nechibemba
inabengi baratalika ngandela ndechibemba baratalika tawe
Jerome Mulembe pesha mwambe pesha shani ati ndamitalika
ebrantalika.
So Comrade Jerome, inokulanda kwakwebati, as much as we are talking tribalism tuleyilanda po, nga tuamona abaiche, kwali ababana tulefyala, uyu mutonga kumo mubemba. Where do we place them in society? What do we think they will be tomorrow? Ababana. So, in a tribalism, for me as a Tonga, it doesn't even carry an impact. One, I'm a proud Tonga. One, I come from a province which is hardworking. Two, I come from a province, rich. Southern province is one of the richest provinces in Zambia, which I'm so proud of. And in tribalism, Tonga naturally, we use our Tonga. In a panel, the moment my brother comes, I'll switch to Tonga. But if I meet somebody, I'll definitely use the media of communication. I'll speak Bemba, I'll speak Nyanja, I'll say something else. But let us not allow the politician. Let us not, these are selfish, politicians ifikopo, doctorate honorary from the same institutions they control. I'm Dr. Chakuti. So if we follow, they've got nothing to offer the people of Zambia. And let's talk about it in a strong way. And one thing I'm very proud today, is that when I saw the inauguration and the election results, I was so proud that the young people who were the majority voters, we told the politicians that are bashed to tribalism. No matter how Chimba spoke about tribalism, the young people never listened. No matter how these other politicians spoke up ill about the Tongas, the young generation never listened. I only hope the senior politicians, they've gotten that message, because the young generation, they've sent a message. We are going with HH, whether he's Tonga, because we believe in his ideas, we believe in his manifesto, and we are going to go with him. Young people, they spoke. And that made me to feel so proud. And when I saw that HH is a Tonga, and he was voted countrywide, I only hope the politicians, they are listening and they've gotten the message that tribalism will not work. So, Abatonga, I plead with them that they should not respond on the issues of tribalism, because the day the Tongas will say enough is enough, what will happen?
Awe kwena nateka. So if you are tribalism nafi pa
That they should not respond on the issues of tribalism, because they
Chitenya ni mute ba Gladys.
Natemu kwae opondi chungulo mkwae. Na inena alachita kufi address the topic of tribalism. It's nice to see that it has been addressed, and I think we should continue addressing it. And because tribalism, as somebody said, that it has been there since the last 50, 60 years. And it started like just a joke for us who had been coming up. I mean, in some sense, in some sense, it was looking like it came from a joke to being something serious, not knowing that our fellow brothers and sisters, Tonga sisters, are getting offended, and it started spreading like fire without stopping it. So it's about time. Even though that our president has just come in, it's a battle we have to fight. It's not stopping right now, right away. We have to keep on addressing it from time and again in schools, and to say and to bring the one Zambia, one nation. Because if we say, okay, the tribalism has stopped, it has not stopped. It will stop until we finish we stop addressing it. We start from as young as abananga bambo kusambirila ma me mi mo mu, not at ma me mi mo. No, we have to teach them. I have brothers. Most of my brothers, my cousins, they are married to Tongas, because Tongas, I believe, they are the most beautiful women I've ever seen. So they Mukwai.
You know, Chako Kashinka, that's why to Atrapo Colombia Kovakateka, Kubeko moratorium for 1 year, Babweshe Kwama Dowry, Abachanabatonga, so that Tuchite Tukumbin Kanya Zambia win Wang.
I think about Shako, because in the sense that that's the encouragement of being one Zambia, one nation. If the Bembas, the Kalubales are marrying the Tongas, Naba Ushikumoba join. It's a spirit. It's a spirit of Ubuntu, a spirit of one Zambia, one nation. It's nice to see. It's only those unreasonable, unsensible leaders ngabala tu amona abafirwa no kuchitana nkani ukuchita afford some private gym instructor ewe galeta fi ubututu, and they are called honorables. They don't deserve even to be honorables, to be honest.
Gladys, hey Gladys, just before you go any further, can you hear me? Just before you go any further, it's not Kaluvale, it's the Luvales and Lundas. I just want to correct you, because sitting here and listening to that, and I know you don't mean it in a bad way, but that's the way we're referred to. We're Lundas and Luvales, not Wakaluvale and Wakalunda. It doesn't really, if you know what I mean. Thank you.
Kabirin Dela and Chibemba, that's why. But anyway, thank you for correcting me. And also the other issue of the viral video which was going on at President Nakacinda moving ku State House. Being misinformed or not misinformed, I think it's just the right thing. Just right away when somebody has moved out, people have their hidden skeletons. Probably pakukuka fast mukuleta mazembe yala ashwa kukusho tuntu. Vala botuma skeleton. nobody moves into the house without being, it has to be cleaned out. It has to be wiped out. Bonse baliwa baleko lopama taos, bonse kuba chinja. Bonse baliwa balewa miamugadde nilimbi balishire bachitananika ne bafisamo otuntu tonse. Kyonse kunukula kukwisa na ifwe n'abanchito beswa banyu. So, well, it's just, there's a lot of logical things which has to take place. So it's the right thing to do. That why should the president be rushed to get into the state house? He should take his merry time and enjoy when he's going there, and there has to be prayers. So yes, that's just my comment.
Joanna Mubiana, what's your take? Joanna Mubiana, are you there?
I'm here. Kimanziwa ni Jerome. Hello, everybody. So I would just like to talk on two issues. The first one is just a big thank you to Bakwetu TV for this platform. Honestly, you're giving everyone a voice. And if only we could duplicate Munsha and this show and have it across the whole country, I think we could have a lot more progress in terms of getting to where we need to be as people. Just to piggyback off of everyone who's commented on tribalism, I agree with Gladys. I think this is a conversation that needs to be ongoing. I think we need to unpack this issue and really just try and get to the bottom of it and see how we can overcome some of these issues, because it's just getting out of hand. And just secondly, on defending the revolution, I mean, I was watching the video from the binoculars guy, what's his name? And it was huge comic relief, but also I was actually quite happy to see that the opposition wants to watch and learn to see how the job is really done. So if they're going to be watching and following and seeing what's going on, then I think it's best that they do that. So they see how a country should be governed and how you should not loot money and enrich yourselves to the level that they have. There's so much that has been taken out of the country. If we can get that money back, we could definitely have free education. Our country is not poor. We have so much to give back to our people. And honestly, they just need to give HH enough time to actually put things in place. And he's already hit the ground running. He's already started fixing things. So they just need to give him a bit of time, and yeah, they just need to back down. That's my take. Thank you, everyone.
Advocate Melissa, are you there? Advocate Melissa, are you there?
It's Malisa. I'm here.
Okay, Melissa, go ahead, please.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Okay. I think I agree with what everyone else is saying with regards to the tribalism issue, but I'm going to add a new twist to this and say this conversation, if we're going to look at it critically, in Zambia today, there are very few people, if I can say, in this generation of ours or the generation afterwards, like where most of the people voted, let me say between 18 and maybe 35, who are what we can call a pure tribe. If I ask you to point at a 20-year-old who can attest to be a pure Bemba or a pure Tonga or a pure Lozi, I think the numbers will be maybe 2 out of 10, maybe 20%. So what I'm trying to say is there are a lot of intermarriages in Zambia today. So if you are going to tell a young Zambian today that you are a Bemba or you are a Tonga, then you'll be wasting your time, because you'll find that maybe the mother is Tonga and the father is Lozi, or maybe the mother is Bemba and the father is from Eastern Province. So point being, this tribal vitriol, it really has no place in our society. And It really doesn't make sense. I think this is something that is driven by politicians, because in our societies, people live together in harmony. Jerome Ngamlefwaya Gelo, do you first ask at what tribe are you, or you just go Wamufuna che? So at the end, so at the end of the day, what I'm trying to put across is that really this issue of tribe is really nonsensical, to be honest, because there are 72 tribes in this country. Now we're going to have another tribe called Chinese, and we also have Zambians of Asian origin, and there are a lot of them. So I hope the new government drives this point home, to say really there is no pure tribe in Zambia right now as we speak, and that is a fact. No one can change that. So if the government puts it at the center of their agenda to show everyone that if your father is Tonga and your mother is Bemba, so if Bembas and Tongas start fighting, which side are you going to choose? So we are being unfair on our children by following the likes of Chishibakambwit. And yesterday when Munsha said that Tongas should celebrate, I mean, there was nothing wrong with what he said. But the problem is there was a narrative that was driven by certain people which hasn't escaped us as a nation. And I really think that every one of us, as people who want to unite this country, we should play our part in making sure that this tribal nonsense goes with the PF government that started it. I think that's my submission on that one.
Okay, thank you. Beauty Dingan.
Now, Gerald.
Is it Dingan? Yeah.
Gerald.
Yes.
Gerald.
Yes.
Beyond the issue of tribe, there is this issue with Nakacinda. Have you had a look at what Nakacinda is saying?
Yeah, I saw that myself today at lunchtime.
Yeah, what's up?
I don't know.
With what Nakacinda is saying, Jerome.
Yes, I also saw what Nakacinda is saying, but one thing I can say is he's too quick and he's thinking like that's our position is. You know, one thing we should know is President Nakacinda I've got about, if I'm not mistaken, 1,882 days to be in State House, and today's day 2. So he has about 1,880 days to implement what he was promising. He can even implement some of the things which he was promising on the number 1,880. There's no problem. He has implemented what he said in 5 years. So Nakacinda, no, it's just a bitter loser and a very bad loser, actually, if I can say so. So maybe me, I call such people to be pathetic losers who don't even know what's supposed to be done. That's what I can describe Nakacinda. And you see, he's trying to find the relevance, but he has rushed too quick to find relevance, which now is the people whom we need to vote for him, who are responding to him and who are telling him to hold on with whatever he's saying. So let him give our president time, let him give us the UPND time. We do what we promised the people of Zambia, and he knows very well, Nakacinda, that in 2026 there will be no opposition because we'll be able to execute what we promised the people of Zambia as a party. Bamusha, with the Beauty, can you add your voice?
I think Beauty had some comments to make.
Yeah, for me, thank you. And by the way, I can't go away. I can't go off without saying, Gladys, I love your hair. It looks fabulous. You're now blonde. You look beautiful. And Jerome, oh my gosh, you've taken 10 years off your age. I think you look 17 now, but you look fantastic too. Thank you. What I wanted to say today is, of course, the issue of tribalism. I sorted it out yesterday with my bro, so forget that part. I'm not even going to go there. The issue of HH moving into State House, let him take his own time. Like Gladys said, kuti balishamo tumutia pana and all this kind of stuff. Na baba kuipikana bakupianga, bare piangira kumo kuti bare kupianga na kumolo. You never know what they might have left there. Yes, for sure. Let him take his own time. So what's the rush anyway? Why do they want him to go into the State House? That's also up to him. My gosh, what else was I going to talk about? What else was Nalaba? Chapo, I think that's all. Thank you.
Nakacinda, Nakacinda, please, before Tamlalaba, Nakacinda.
Nakacinda was talking about how he's going to, he wants HH on day one when, to make sure that when the students are going back to college, that the meal allowance is going to be reintroduced, and, the education from nursery to university is going to be free and all this. When I look at that gentleman, I think he's sick. There's something wrong in his head. In PF, yesterday when I was listening to our leader, the one thing he said is, what is the true debt? And that's very important. How much do we really owe either the European bonds or IMF, World Bank, Russia and China? How much altogether does Zambia actually owe? And when we look at that, how does he think HH is just going to come in like that and flick a finger and everything falls in one place? It was not going to happen in the first year. Yes, free education might come, but it might, come in the next 3 years. First, and I like the way they're going on about doing that. He went on to say a lot of things, how he's going to get the students to go and, protest and all this kind of stuff. And whoever was in the room was also agreeing with him. I'm thinking it's the same people, same fools that, he works with. I think we should also remember that the reason why people go, talking about tribalism or the bullies that we have, if you look at the bullies that we have in Guinea, fikopo class, bully so like I'm not gonna mention names. If you second day, I wasn't expecting HH to be president. Excuse me, yourself, you look like you don't even want to say anything, but you think, I heard somebody else also was at a funeral, and again, I'm not going to mention any name, just in case it just start getting popularity. Ati, chabi po yumulumendo fuide takabeko konkalateka. I think you know who that is. I won't mention names. Yeah, Kakapoli is right. You know what? I'm going to leave it there. Thank you for the opportunity.
And if you're mulelanda, mumone nombe fikopo fya retuteka. No anda country kanshi yali muli fituisangire dero. Pamto retuteka bene Nakacinda. Baka sonso. Imweni shwari posa kuwaya. Nakacinda retuteka just imagine.
Mwandi chalo chari pechase. Balekeni ndande kopaliva Nakacinda. Nakacinda should celebrate that a name like Nakacinda is in State House. So anyway, when people speak or they come into public life, one of the things that we have to look at is their rise to prominence or their notoriety. Where did he come from? What has he done? Nakacinda was never Mumba's Chola boy, Dr. Mumba's Chola boy, to be specific. And his only rise to prominence was to betray his spiritual father. Nakacinda is like a Judas Iscariot to Dr. Mumba. Nomba showa nanguva PF balusa twetuvule Yuda erewesa pe direction ya country. No, we cannot do that. Uya muntu ari tukenda ba spiritual father bakwe. If never some politics ya kuta tuyakonka o twachasha ntula umfofyonse fyalani takwabo kutuka nevers. That's the spiritual father of the country. That's what Nakacinda did. He's unconscionable. He has no brain. He insulted his own father. We can't listen to him for that one point. Number two, when you are making policy challenges on an existing government, this is people should go to school. You know, when you are making a policy challenge, you have to look at the execution first. Have they executed this? Have no matter what set up. Yo, organize my students. Iria government ya bukopo fieta kwa kabena kabiri Mozambique. Kuire fya upovya PF bapene. When you look at the execution of public policy, you have to look at the personnel, the steps that the government is doing, the budgetary allocation. You know, in my mother's video, you know, did they provide any of that? They are a shameful enterprise and they stink shame. They left the country in debt, and that's one of the reasons why free education is not available on the first day. But we have to investigate them. We have to collect some of that money. That is what is going to happen. So you tell these empty heads, opposition politics, different substance, government seat, parliament ministers. No, it's to organize the republic in an adult manner. And once you organize the republic like that, Zambia school ya Mzambia reached cost shinga mwevan. $25,000 no. School ya Zambia are cheap. It's affordable. Don't let any cheap from PF come and tell you it can't be done. It can be done and it will be done. Because they will be saving money. They will be saving money. There will be no wasteful expenditure. There will be recoveries from corruption. And there is goodwill. Papa Media 2 years ago. Yeah, one of the first things to Zambia, it's to be able to change the faces who are running government. Because Zambia is around the world. Tulakwata goodwill. Mwana mfoveti ba Japani, mpela $2 billion towards education. Mwana mfoveti ba France, because mule moneka nomba tu te kwa vale kuno. So, if you are left take over abike fya yakwe panshi. Abike yakwe panshi alolele amone fa umeba bumba. I even remember my uncle Mr. Penza Shale Kaipa in Parliament. What you need Pitalal Lore umfogo to bomba. Nomba utego tabulamba no bomba. Bamo kulangunga local pangeto media. Batala di Kenya bonga vai savalanda basa mkulande fya upamule Twitter. Tureba shi, tureba chisha. Ala.
Caleb Sinze. Are you there? Caleb Sinze. Please say something.
Ajero mumulitiane lekani nikambe mchinsenga neo kai chivemba chone kachapakisha mulitiane yankana ajero mumulitiani one Zambia yo tenti yange
one Zambia nation tribuino mulitiani
neni lipaweme amusha mulitiani. Oh. Okay, pepano. Okay. Lekani nikambe choyamba nufuna kuti niamikile kuli bakwetu. Chifukwa neyamba kuikonka nthawi yapita kuvuli uku. Koma mpata wakuti nilavilepo nenzeve. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, we are hearing you. We are hearing you. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Lero ndiye kuyamba kuti nipezekeko pa platform hapa. Neni ne msenga wa kuchipata koma nili ku Southern Province chifukwa cha manchito amene sota zozipeza kuno kuchoma hapa takwanishana zaka zibiri kuno romba bana nawo ambophunzira chitonga ndiye one Zambia tulabirapo. Our children are now learning Tonga here in Southern Province. So what I'm trying to stress is for us to strengthen the One Zambia, One Nation theme, we need to collaborate in languages and also in unifying everything that makes us Zambian. I want to talk about first the inaugural speech by the president, because he stressed a lot of things, but I want to pick on one thing, one statement that he made. He said, there are more things that unite us than things that divide us. I don't know if you heard that statement. So kuli neo nuona monga kuti seti ambepo kuzitalamuja nochita divide chifukwa ni mtonga chinkale ni paweme ifyo fine ba Jerome tulefwayo kwati bonse tuitumpemo muri ilyashi mwamfefe ndela ndechibemba na chinsenga chonse ajitonga ajalo tulambaula. You see, this is the same One Zambia, One Nation that we need to promote. So as we talk about these things, we need to show by our actions. Now, if you look at what is happening in Zambia now, in the past, I remember growing up, I don't know, I think most of us were in an era where we had this statement where they would, if they meet a Tonga or someone coming from Mumbwa, they would say, hey, Aisha, Mumbwa, Aisha. I don't know if you remember. It was like a joke, and then they would toss this man around, make fun of him. And then after that, they will allow him to get into the bus and they continue rejoicing. It was like fun. Now, in this era we are in, people use a lot of insults, a lot of malice, and a lot of several other, languages, just to demonize one language or one tribe that they do not like. Now that this tribe is in power or is in the seat of authority, let us be able to support our president and show them that we need to get back to that time when we used to joke with our brothers from the southern side, or from Mumbwa, or from Central Province. We used to make very nice, jokes. At the end, sometimes, yes, of course, others will find an opportunity to steal from that man, and that man will go and say, Vandi bidamali. But then, it continues as a joke and everyone will laugh about it. But then for us to have reached to this state where people are busy, making, abusive language or hate speech, it's really worrying. We don't know what future we are going to have for our children. I'm really glad that we have the right government, a government that has promised so much for the Zambian people. Ninjishiba aba bakakwanisha nchito yetu abapere. They will manage and they will meet our expectations. No wonder these people that are making a lot of comments about the president when he's just 2 days in authority, I think are just a non-entity, so to say. For us, we shouldn't even pay attention to them because they're just, leaflets or people that are just saying things that will not even drive this nation to any direction. Because if you look at, I even liked a statement that was given by the new MP for Itejiteji constituency. He really, spoke his mind and told off Nakacinda, Pefyu Bachilanda. That thing is saying Operation Binoculars. Of course, yes, they need to provide checks and balances for the government, but we don't have to politicize it. The other time we were even listening to Vakwet, I wanted to make a comment, but every time I've been trying, I've been failing to go through. But then what touched me on one of these broadcasts was that we were talking about what the past government has done in terms of, destroying the economy, destroying the status of, our health system, education, and everything, almost all sectors. And it took them almost 10 years for us to be where we are. 10 years of continuous misappropriation, misapplication, and all sorts of things. But then they expect the president in 2 days to start applying the free education, to provide medicines before we even assess to see what do we owe, how much do we have in our reserves, how much can we allocate for this and that. I mean, it requires the cabinet first to be in place and all these things to be put in place for us to start forging ahead. So evolving too, we find got it to a passable time. If you remember, one of our former MPs in Sinda, where I come from, that man, Mr. Kazungula, he said, "Change your passable time, mwewo. His Excellency has done so much." That was his own view. But then, even us, still to a passable time. Chifukwa ndiye palo vapo pa mpando. Chifukwa ula mpando, eutiola kale. Etiola enzepo. Lomba tufuna kuti uyu mpando first aulungishe, then ndiye patalo vemo. All of them State House, we need to do a lot in State House. So that place is habitable. Our first family should be safe. They should feel just as they are feeling where they are staying. There should be no difference. As they move into the State House, they should feel as though they are still in their new Kasama home. So I feel for us, we need to support the government. Let's give them time and be patient. As soon as the government comes in, I mean, let me say, as soon as the cabinet comes in, all these sectors will be taken care of. As it is, we don't have the drivers of these sectors, the people to monitor these sectors. So we need to give them time. After this comes in, that's when we'll be able to judge them or maybe start giving criticism. I submit. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Ruth, are you there? Ruth?
Yeah, yes, I'm here, my brother. Good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Me, I'm from Kasama, but nainena la milanga nainena alishwa ko tuntu mulibuti. But in a what I wanted to say, I heard somebody say that the government should implement a situation where we promote the oneness of being Zambian and not being tribal. I think it shouldn't only be left in the government's hands. It should start from our communities. If you feel it, if you feel they won't say by mini or ukufunyapo emfuko. If you want to let chitanga to umfafia umwale landa. Won't say twice mano kumukanse fia landa because muma yandomo tuika lomu. Mwali wabana abatonga ini abana bandini makaonde. Kuti ba umfashani. Yes. So abana bandi bambi ama nephews and nieces batonga. It's very, very hateful to have children, young children at a young age. Thank you, so number, tufuire tuambo from our communities because fire ona abana besu no kuchena abana besu mumyeo yabo. That is the issue ya tribalism. Elo fuebengi tulalande ifitundu ifyapsana, but we have to try to make an effort to learn each other's tribes, and that's the only way we can bridge this gap. Otherwise, it will always be like that. But on the other hand, ababantu abalelanda kuli State House. I mean, for crying out loud, our president lives in a big house. He's very comfortable. He really didn't have to run for president. Ababantu abalelanda balongere efyo kufuma kuchawama. Ukuisa ku State House. He's in no rush. Why do they want to be petty? This is just the second day. I mean, he has a family to take care of first before anything else. we'll give him all the time. It took them 7 years to destroy the country. We have time. What we have is time. And the time that we are going to spend na babantu abakabola alaba kuba kita investigate ba kasonso inen therefore kuipusha pali issue ya forensic audit imwenga ni mwebo kuti mwayambira kuisa na chita submit.
Oh, but gentlemen, just give one wakachipsho hapo nshilala
Mukwai.
ati just give wakachipsho hapo nshilala
Ichipsho baipusha at forensic audit kumwambira pesa.
Aha. Yeah, so ama audits yonse apa kwambila you know particularly because upu bwariko mu buteko bwariko tama several steps in which they are very legal, so abakubalira poku bomfya ma auditors first okuchitase 10 ama principles bale bomfya pakupoke enkongole nishinge enkongole bapoke, and then you compare with the market price of the projects, and then muma details and muma substantive tests ero mwala to find out uko mpia shaile, and then you can release other junior auditors into different facets. So you have to start with the framework of reference or the terms of reference. The terms of reference is to find out, first of all, the legal framework under which those loans were obtained, the amounts that were obtained, the cost of the projects for which they were obtained, the reasons and rationale that were given for overpricing them. And even a straightforward, even ordinary auditors have forensic skills, because some of the things, the information you have to piece together. Then the aspect of forensics is also we have to work with the attorneys, because then we as the accountant, then you are the expert witness on behalf of the investigative team to testify the route the money took and where the money went and things like that. One of the things that they are going to find out, whatsoever the company they are going to engage the government figuring out that, they are going to find out that from the perspective of the law, there were very few things that were done illegally. But from the perspective of the public interest, there may be issues where the lawyers can help. For example, if they borrowed $100 million for a project that cost $250,000, so the interest would be to try and hold them accountable legally for the difference, 250 and the 750, that difference. How was that money used? Where did it go? And what are the terms of the agreements? And then they will find out also that some of the agreements were actually fundamentally illegal. If the loan was contracted illegally, the government does not have an obligation to pay that loan. The persons who signed that have the obligation to repay that loan. It might actually come to that. But that is where I wanted to underline a statement that the president-elect made when he was just in his first speech. He said most of what they are going to be working on is economic diplomacy. Because nomba kwamba kumfuana na bale bakongwereko. Awe shindala mashaide kwisa. Ife shabombere ni. And let me give you an example. China, when they were loaning Zambia money, particularly China, when they were loaning Zambia money, yes, the prices were exaggerated and they paid some of the money to the people who were involved in those contracts. But most of what the Chinese did is they took that loan amount and they paid their people to come and be the one to construct those structures. So literally, you have to now find out what was the market price for the labor that was paid by the Chinese. So there is going to be a lot of and stuff like that. But the place to start from is to ascertain the legality of the bonds, the amounts involved, the cost of the projects, and comparing with the market prices of the projects. And then look for the differences in those agreements and where the money went. It's an easy undertaking, but it's going to require a well-funded investigative team comprising a lot of accountants with experience in bonds and other loan structures around how loans are structured, and then negotiations with the
Can
government.
such loans be nullified? Can they be nullified if a country borrows us money and then they bring their own people? Can they nullify such loans under the laws of Zambia? Can we negotiate that?
That is what has to be. That is what has to be. That is what has to be investigated. That is what has to. That's what we have to find out. But you see, the problem is this: you always have to take into account the interests of the persons you borrowed from, and that is where negotiation has to go in. For example, if China loaned us 1,000 kwacha, and 750 of that 1,000 went back to China, sure, we have a moral platform with to negotiate. And the other thing is this: there are times when the negotiations reach an impasse, and one of the things you can do is to take that project. For example, ngabakulira airport amakwata national airline ama airport namukwata yenge ngani airport yo mwafira okucha negotiate mwasanga most of the money went back to China, or most of the money didn't or went to the guys who signed the contract. You as a government can say iloni itatwakalipire ni chipokeni asset, because those are guarantees in there. The government they will take the asset, so they will take the asset and run it under the laws of Zambia. From books, loans, from books, mwachefi yako amount. So fimbi kuba bwe ichi pali 100 million in the every month or every year is less than half of that. And the impiation gishabwelele kuli muba China. So twamipela permission ini asset yenu akuibomfieni twakula ibomfiako on your terms, but you have to operate under our rules. So then you cut down that. So because when you offer them those type of positions, that's when they come to negotiate. They come to negotiate, say, oh, okay, so fimbefo ba Kongwe tafia na useful kuli bena. So ikawama ikagemuka yala, if you amba no kupange chongo mukula landa vya government ikagemuka, because we'll find out a lot of information ama zaenda la mashari dishinga project ya 250 mwaya kongola 1 million wena nguvupu kwa so shesha pa murushonzo shesha kwa we shesha tu alipila ma students pa University of Zambia. Those should be some of the things we're looking at. But ukasanga tindala mavale ya kanyafina ma Chinese uko vale Kongola. So vale chicha fechalo. But the people have voted. In fact, our PF, they should be happy and proud that people voted them out. Because when we go to talk to them about where the loans were, how the money was used and stuff like how much money actually was moved to the Bank of Zambia, mukasanga tindala mava China vale mikongwesha. Fibe fiefia ma Chinese abalumendo bafuma kali ati abalesa mukwimyembao pakukule fintu. Nishindala mashari bwekera ku China. Why are we going to be paying for that? Bapere na asset na mayanda muno. Mubapere na 3 years bale ikala Mzambia, after 3 years ya expire bakabwekera kuchalo kumwawo. So kufuna kwa bako kuba shrewd.
Kasonso tuomba. Baros, Mkwai, what is your take?
My take, first of all, I'm just so happy about the new government. That's why I land up but Java also an yao someone na ikere zusumile kuna half side na family. Tawale for no So I'm just so happy, and the only thing, like the way I was supposed to say, because I want to have a show on same place because it's just so sad. For me here, I've been working so hard, and like I'm not gonna mention names whereby you'll be bragging, but those money was for Zambian citizens, and some of the people because and the only thing I can say, I'm not gonna hide the our engineer number one on because Balumwe was on the forefront. Because when you see such things is happening in your country, you have to sit there. It's the same as you're in the house. When you see the children, your children are not misbehaving, you sit them down. Vanavandi, this is the way we see it. But Balungu, he was on the forefront and he has so many assets in Zambia, which means he was not even caring about the Zambians. The only thing he was interested in Kulapanga came here and right, that's the only thing. And then the other thing I'm gonna say what Glasses say about moving my. These people, they were saying that many pastors, friends, people we know, HH cannot go to the state house. But why today you want to rush him? Because like the way everybody said, when you move in the house, you have to clean the house, you have to do everything, and that's when you can move in. It myself moving up and I like now, Mama, I've been living in this house for 18 years. And then I saw Mom Valley to it doesn't work like that. People, Zambians, you have to show first. HH has a beautiful house whereby we have to clean the house, have to take it, everything, because there's so many things which was happening in the state house. Kwalinganga, my pastors, all kinds of things. So those things have to come out. We need cleansing, and then that's when HH can go with it, in that house.
Thanks, Balos. We are waiting, Bamusha. This is now 1 hour 31 minutes. I think we have been here, and the year is
and
about
Jerome, you
23.
look very younger today, with your haircut, and also glad you look so pretty. I like your hairstyle. I think the stress is gone.
I'm telling you, this shows you how much I'm believed in terms of stress, because you have a new government, and just today alone, I got my license back without even
Praise the Lord.
pushing back. At least now my license is being given to me. The last time I saw it was in 2019, but now I have it today. So it is something very, very, very good. I think we need to wait for Vamush and see when he comes to conclude for everyone, seeing that we have reached about 1 hour 30 minutes. Unless another person wants to come in and say something, please, you're free.
Awo Jerome inetondera ndakofya abantu abamu abamukose pokusendekala. The other thing, Yamakadas, because we hear some people
Yeah,
market
I have a
that
question for
the
you.
cadres are coming, the cadres are coming back. Please, we don't want that, because it's gonna be the same as the government, which was there again. Because we want, when we come to Zambia, you are walking freely. Because I remember when I was in Zambia in 2018, I was running with my handbag like somebody who is lost. And then my daughter, she said, Mom, stop. I'm like, no, because I'm scared. It was not just so present. I was just not happy about it.
Yeah, I think on the issue, yeah, we need to look into that. But for me, I've said once Parliament opens up, once Parliament opens, I'm going to write a petition to the Speaker of the National Assembly to petition that President Edgar Lungu's immunity should be lifted, because I believe that President Edgar Lungu, with his co-ministers, they subjected the Zambian people to a lot of fake drugs that the people are not supposed to take. So we need to know to what extent did we consume those fake medications that the ruthless and the tyrant government of PF made us to consume. And me, I've put it and I've said, immediately Parliament opens, my petition will be there to ask the Speaker to ask the parliamentarians to lift the immunity of President Edgar Lungu, because it's too much of him allowing or seeing Zambians consuming fake medicines. Well, he knows very well that these are the people whom is ruling, and these are the poor people. So we need to know the truth about that. And we need to know to what extent State House was involved in the procurement of drugs at Ministry of Health. I want also to know to what extent State House was involved in the infrastructure development at Ministry of Health, in terms of projects, costing, and all that. I want to know as a citizen, because I feel State House had some hand, and when I say State House, I mean President Edgar Lungu had some hand in that. And I need this immunity to be removed so that the investigation can be smoothly run and we check exactly what really went wrong. Because I want also to know, how did we find ourselves giving cadres to buy medical equipment? People who know nothing about medical equipment, they are the one who are procuring medical equipment. All those things can be allowed when the president allows it. So I want to know why, to what extent was President Edgar Lungu hands involved in all this procurement? So as Parliament opens up on the 10th, my petition should be the same day 10th, or it should be on the 11th. My petition should reach the Speaker so that we have President Edgar Lungu immunity be lifted. Let the parliamentarians debate, and once they debate, then let's see what they are going to decide. But his immunity need to be removed so that the investigation can be done on how much damage it caused this nation of Zambia.
I think, and I know I'm not a lawyer, neither am I an accountant, or neither am I one of the people that are investigating these cases. What I would do if I was Ichilema, but I'm not Ichilema, of course, I would ask everybody that was in the higher positions in the whatever cabinet or whatever minister, whoever was in a position of power, to not leave the country for now. Close all the borders and say, these people, if anything, surrender your passports for now. We're not going to put you under house arrest or anything. Surrender your passport and you do not leave the country until the end of all the investigations. Because like I said, we've got this debt that we need to pay. We have defaulted twice. We cannot continue. For Hakainde to be looked at from the, like outside, Hakainde has already gained that confidence. And that's why we've seen the dollar starting to, to fall and the kwacha starts to gain power. That's because they can see what kind of a leader he's going to be. They've already anticipated that, and the markets are kind of acting, towards that. They're going towards that. So to me, like we've said, yes, they want all these things to happen, but of course they can't happen. The first 90 days are going to be crucial. So if we let anybody out, yes, they might go and leave their house, but who knows, they might even sell that house. And if they've sold the house, how are we going to go after that person? Because like I've gotten the house, I bought the house from whoever it was. So do you know where I'm coming from? I think they should just try and ground everybody and say, you're not allowed to leave. But again, that's me saying that, I don't have any say into that, but that's what I'll do. But Rose, what do you think?
That sounds a good idea because, already some people have just left the country. We're not going to mention the names. As soon as they left, somebody call me and I let the general know that this person has left the country. That's what they can work on it, because this is unacceptable. And people are suffering. It was just a shame. But President never was sana because he was in the forefront, he was the chief commander. Because people ever critiqued they always get up but he didn't do the work. And the only thing I can say, because when you are consuming a lot of alcohol, you don't think right, because what you think is about alcohol in your brain. And alcohol, you are so selfish to other people because you just love yourself, but you're just killing yourself. If you're sorry to say that I love Bakateka, but you know what? He was not thinking right. And even the people who are surrounded him were just the Judas Iscariot, because they have to talk to him. The next thing I'm saying that to
that time kwali ka covid ka womine kwena. Anyway, that was
anyway, because I used to be so angry when I see things happening in Zambia. people when they bale amkulanda kuma bedroom, this is our bedroom, and then abantu bale amkuvota bale vote, you do something like chimu to cross on the other side. But nishina mkwate mpia, but mulanda know you've met amam bridges and all kinds of things.
Okay, now I think let's make sure that we end by 45. I think we have now about 5 minutes. If each one we can say something within a minute, then we can leave the broadcast. I think so. It's yeah. Let me start with Caleb. Since if you are around, if you are still there, Caleb, under a minute.
Yeah, but Jerome, Natasha Mkwai. Yeah, thank you very much. I'm really glad that we had this discussion, and for sure, the issues that have been raised of cadres returning in the markets, not to you, Mariash. So I think what we need is the authority to move in. I hear there are some that are purporting to be council officials, and they are going again to harass the marketeers and collecting levies. Meanwhile, those levies are going into their pockets. Others are parading as cadres in Nigeria, others in just plain, civilian. So whatever the case, I think we expect that the council, which is now in full operation, to deploy maybe council police or whatever it takes for them to ensure that there are no leaks for this revenue to be, to be harnessed. So we have lost so much money in the past. We need every little coin for us to go forward. So I think we cannot afford to start going backwards again. We've already made a huge step as Zambia, and we need to continue in that trajectory. So I urge that I think let's support the government. Where we are seeing issues, we quickly move in. We are also seeing other platforms that are doing it on their personal level. So I think we need to do it. Wherever we are, let's be patriotic as Zambians. If we see any wrong, we need to report it. That's the only way we can. I think that position we had in the past where would see injustice or something bad being done and then we ignore it because nothing will be done, is gone. So we need to make, I think, positive strides. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Akarib. Joanne Mubiana, in a minute. Joanne Mubiana, in a minute.
Thank you, everyone. So I would just like to urge each one of us to take ownership of the discussion today. Just take the points that have resonated with you, and we should just continue to work hard as well. We shouldn't expect everything for free. As a nation, we need to learn that hard work pays, and we need to continue with that spirit going forward. Thank you.
Okay. Gladys, under a minute, please.
Yeah, as for me, just like Rose said, that all those people who have committed crimes, like money laundering, for example, it's a big list, and most of them, we can actually find them on media, where those who were displaying monies and and most of them, we know them. I think the best thing to do is to start collecting back what they owe to the state, because since Zambia is owing a lot of billions, at least as quickly as possible. And it's nice to see that DEC and also Anti-Corruption Commission, they've started taking the lead. So I think the earlier the better, but it has to go fast for those who are moving out of the country. Some of them not to be the Antonio Mwanzas, he was defending himself today that he never said that is at UPN Dinga that his manhood should be cut at Tala and Direfio, and he has sued the newspaper who said that, which is absolutely nonsense, because he said it and it's there in the public domain. So all of those, they have to be answerable.
Thank you. Vamusha bwereni kwena muchite conclude batire conclude kwena.
Aho bachero mpere kwati kulioko nachia.
Vamuseka machiva.
Pando kwana kalimonja nachifumapo.
Uwenu taukonzeke omupando please bwereni po. Bwereni fwaya bwereni po.
Mushatezo mpasani muone mchinsenga mwanzo yankhalini.
Awe lilia nishi network nayo naika. Nenze nambi.
Wenye kambani chinsenga timve.
Awe nenze namvera mushe.
Okay, well done.
Yeah. Naleka. Mukansambirisha ili bakale bisinze.
Mukwaenka mifunda. Ifine mule tufunda kwa ma constitution na fimbi tukamifunda so ati na imwe mwaishiba kwa chinsenga.
Mkwai. Awe tuliyaba ipikania.
Okay. Au kuitumpa mofye.
Kwena inaka lwimbo akakali mu mind sana mwe.
Kesa uko.
Alewera pampando. You must be joking.
Mwalefo ya balugu nomba mbike ko mulomo. Ale. Ewerera po.
Vamusha. Comrade Muncha.
Akaka wimbo kali mu mind mwebo. Nalikachiresa press. Number after Tuesday, it keeps coming back and ringing very heavily in my mind. I'm trying to ignore it. Number ignore it, kabwera. So njebere kwamba fyo kuimba nomba. So na mimbira po akalwi. Amutishari, nibani bachiranda, niba malambo.
Vamusha. Mwabwele npomkwai.
Tapadi yuko na
Mwachiluva, comrade Mwachiluva. Mwabwele npomkwai. Vamusha ndefo okulanda popaili ashiri abati kanga ni bana ati bana Nakacinda nga ni bana tembo katuishinga ni bana nani. Earlier on in my submission nachilanda ati ba PF olo ababa alelanda efya kulanda fi kopo. So ababa mdala ababa chilanda eri ashiri ili akweba ati mwilipila ama school fees mukatite demonstrate bakopo pantu bena balefu aba nabo bachite benefe bafilirwa okuchita in 10 years balefu bafite muri 2 days nomba echo nachanda ati ba PF lyatwale kula ife ero twali abaiche kwali ama groups at group 1 group 2 group 3 bada baliko ifikopo bali ku group 3 so abenge aba mu PF ba ku group 3 uko balefuma nomba aba mdala bachilala ati tukashite demonstrate this shows the level if ikopo ife twakwete mu government abana beshi bate left the country coffers empty nabeshi benkongole basha nabeshi babena free education tabakwanisha epo nokukwanisha elo balela ndati muri 2 days fibombe nomba obukopo bwaba PF bwakweba ati instead of them if they are doing the checks and balances balandeko pali speech yaba president tabalelanda pono okulanda awe it's not even a factor. Instead balandeko pali ashiri amakadas because the president has made a directive at wafume streets. So those are the things they should have been reacting. Not if they react tamuli ba minister mu offices tamuli ba MP takuli ba DC. So how do they expect the president to operate? He's been in government. He understands the government structure. So when nabale munafia finefia munguri fia reshta ba ECO ba mukushta inspect government properties when parliament balichita dissolve bena balefi mona nomofilia. So they expect even this government to operate the same. So this is how abantu twachitire Asha mofe sofo balifi kopo, because even after being in government he doesn't understand the system. Let's see the cabinet taira afuma. Presidential speech, inauguration, it doesn't even matter. What did the president say? What did he say? We should have been debating about such, not if Varelanda. So PF batekanye. We are yet hello bakafira no batekanye because they have all parliament. I don't know how they will debate. Because I don't see any MP who's got a substance to debate. I don't know how the motions will be done in parliament. Pantu, but atwale munabali abakusinda balia. Can he even push a motion per floor balia? That yakali bayaso. So PF what we should tell them is that can they do proper checks and balances? We know it's their responsibility, but can they do the right things? Not if they fish the pangapona sense na totera.
It looks like we've lost Bamunsha and Jerome, have we?
It looks like.
Now, on a network na yulubanga.
Oh my God, I was sure they really need to get on these people as quick as possible. And like people like what's his name? Uyati nani? Chidalira. Tetwakwate na debate bali kuti baambira na pesa na twalesambira nabo bali
cheka la parliament
foba kalubali songola amene kuti twalanda kunefia man ngabe nabadiswa babeba. I'm sorry to say that, but it has to come out. Really and truly, this is something that I've suffered with for a very long time. Twaisa kuno kubasungu abasungu balefo kumia kwati mwalifita kumushukumu enoko mwafu mana kwena bale mie bati mwa kalubali songola amene kwena efo chaba ture feko twafuma. But Rose, I'm not kidding. Gladys, am I lying? Anybody that's abroad knows what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
You are what you are, no matter what. Like you have makumshkumwenu bale kusontatu wabefi. Kunona kwena wafita wabale kusontatu wabefi. Kwena nkwisa tukapusuka.
Ati kushabali kulaba paka suba nangu ninshula mbile fi.
Amunotu nono tulesa munga twako monanga muri mushop bakulolesha balosha banyina bakulolesha ulet nokti we mwana na papa.
Ni case for it's a case we had for na Zambia ba PF. Pantrensi fyanga ndefye balera ndapo munguru. Even ati fwe bashira ma president wali hapo wayangire ngande yanywelyo tabapentamo. Wali hapo wayangira fyenga ndata waya tawawa amyefyo lefu wayangira mope. Elo ba munchana chimomfa bashira ndati bakaeva banani ba Joy Makando. Noti ba Joy Makando beka batampi ama night duty na ma day shift yakuya mukupepera munganda mulya. Lero kwa yako ba Joy Makando mailo ba Nevers Mumba real pastors of God nama tradition church yonse engiremo baba kirine fyonse mulya not ba Joy Makando beka fika ba chimfya beka.
But you know what? I agree and disagree with that. I would like Bamusha said, Joy Makando yes, I never smumba tetibai wa shame. Nga wambia wa profit muleta bakaya mumuli bakaya mukuleta na fimbi bakaya mkushamu na fimbi.
My sister, not kuma prophet tulitonse kwatu tuyotulene ntwanikane tuli awe kumona kaliba kainge ntwali beshiba bali abatata kali atkana nika Genesis nkandani teti mutwale kumona kaliba
notu twala kuti tuishi ko bayasha afumia munga
Empire.
Awe ku natu beshiba abakaliba ndi not abakaliba bakaeko balepera na shift panti umo kutifya ya muchimfya umwengana ko kupenda kwaisa ko ba Joshua bayi amaboko.
Prayer and fasting. Prayer and fasting.
Bakulekelesa kuleta kona ba pop ba kuroma. Ati ba papa.
Yeah, abadonoska bakesalanda mairo. I think tana tubalufia nabaya nabafuma popa mpando nga babwerera po mairo tukabepushi. Thank you very much. We really appreciate all of you. Thank you for joining us on TV Bakwetu and for making such a great panel of panelists. Is it panel? Panelists. And we appreciate Mr. Jerome Kanika for moderating the discussion throughout. Good night, everyone. God bless you, and we'll see you tomorrow. This has been a presentation of TV Bakwetu with all of our friends.
Good night.
Have a great
Please
evening.
don't. If you are not able to go, please stay around. I will just end the broadcast and